Hi everybody, my name is Benz. I'm a pastor from Germany. Actually I am German, but my church, Vineyard Church, is in Switzerland. So I cross the border every day to go to work, to go to church, which is probably a little strange for you. But it's working fine for us since over 15 years now. 15 years ago we started that Vineyard Church in Basel. And I want to share a little bit with you today how servant evangelism and acts of kindness got started in our church. And you probably all know the verse in Jeremiah 29:7, where it says, "But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare." As a leadership team, as a church, we read this verse and we thought, if Jeremiah is saying to the Israelites, seek the welfare, the best, the prosperity of an enemy city, of a city where they were in exile, how much more should we seek the best and the welfare of the city we live in, a great city, a city that is for us, not against us. And so about a year ago, even more than a year, in Basel newspapers you could read almost every day that the shore or the bank of the river Rhine, which runs through the city of Basel, it draws many young people in the evening. They sit there, they drink, they talk, they laugh, they play music. But in the morning, the bank of the river is so dirty, so much litter there, Coke cans and bottles and everything, that this department of the city that is in charge of cleaning the city wasn't able to do it anymore. It was too much work because it was so dirty every morning. So they thought of closing the bank of the river, at least for young people. And people couldn't go there anymore because it was too dirty. So we were reading that in the newspaper and thought, what can we do solving that problem? How can we seek the welfare and the best for our city? And so we called the boss of the whole department of cleaning of the city and offered them we would help clean the bank of the Rhine. And so they were very fascinated by the idea, and we have church on Sunday night. So we decided after church, many people of our church would go down the river Rhine, which is very close to our church, like only 100 meters away. And so this department delivered to us all the equipment we needed. Gloves and vests in orange color, so you're seen, and stuff to pick up the litter from the ground, and buckets and everything we needed. So about 50 people of us went there, and for the next couple of hours we cleaned a pretty big part of the bank of the Rhine, and including the ways to walkways and streets along the Rhine. And it was pretty fascinating, and it was not only good for the city, but it was fun for us to do with 50 people all wearing the same clothes, all from one church, clean the bank of the Rhine. So the next Sunday we did the same thing again, and the head, the boss, the director of this department was so excited that he himself came on a Sunday night just to see how a church is cleaning the city. And he was walking with us and asking questions and doing interviews. And like 2 weeks later, everybody who joined cleaning got a little postcard from this department with thank you and greetings and so on. So the next thing that happened, it was, let me say, that was only a small thing. And people said, well, is this really spiritual? Is this really evangelistic? I mean, we should preach the gospel to people and not just clean the city. And we said, of course, it was not preaching the gospel, but it was a small act of kindness. It was a small service. Let's see to what it leads. And actually, it opened many doors for our church in that city. Because the next thing that happened was that along the bank of the river, there wasn't only dirt, but there were many plants that shouldn't be there. They have grass there and some trees, but there are many plants that shouldn't be there, they're just growing every year, and there's another department who is in charge of all the gardening work in the city. So if there's a lawn to mow on a public area, they do it, they cut trees and all these kind of things. So it's their job to keep the bank clean from all these wild plants that are growing. And the situation was so bad last year that you couldn't, at some places, couldn't even see the river because of all these plants along the bank of the Rhine. So we again offered, why can't we help you cut all those trees and plants down so it looks as it should look? And surprisingly, they agreed. So for a whole Sunday, a team of our church, like 20 or 30 people, met, and they came with a whole truck loaded with equipment, professional equipment, helmets and buckets and I don't know the English word, something to sweep the streets, and electric mowers and stuff like that, a lot of material. And they left, and they just left the material to us, and we could by ourselves do the work the whole day. And it was fun work to do, it was great fellowship, it was a hot day, and for about 5 or 6 hours we did this work. Even children helped. It was a fun day, and we did it twice, 2 Saturdays, and we were able to get rid of all these plants at about 1/3 of the bank of the Rhine at this area of the city. So this department was very happy we did it. They again gave us little presents and wrote us a card, and somehow we inspired them. Because normally 2 of their workers, of their guys, do this work for 4 months every day, 2 of these guys. So it's a long, exhausting work they have to do. So we came with 30 people. So this department decided, let's also take all our men we have, all our workers we have, and do the whole bank of the Rhine, at least that what is left, in 1 day. So they did it. They all came, and we offered a lunch for all the workers in our church building. So they worked in the morning, at noontime they came to our church, they got a great meal, and then in the afternoon they went there and they finished all the work in 1 day, and normally it takes 4 months for 2 people. So that was very exciting to work together with them, and now we are thinking about helping them to restore playgrounds or other things where children could be, and help them build it again or clean it or paint it or whatever. So there's an open door for us to help the city. You must know that there's something like a city council, or I don't know how to explain, the directors or the heads of these departments, they meet on a regular basis, and so they are talking about what's going on. And the guy from the cleaning department, the guy from the gardening department, they talked about this church helping. So the next thing that happened was that the director of the children's hospital, who is part of that council, offered us if we would like to send a team and help families in a very difficult social environment or social situation, whose children were in the hospital, and now their children are healed or healthy again, and they have to go home. And at home they are in a very difficult situation, like they are very poor, the mother has to work all day, it's a single mom, so the conditions of these children are very difficult. And so